Satterfield's post-game press conference. Coach will start us off with a quick opening statement. Please raise your hands for questions. Use the microphones, turn them on, please. Coach?
Yeah, I mean, just first of all, really appreciate the crowd that we had today. With the striping out, the red and black all across the whole stadium, and it was loud. Great environment for college football. Hosting a ranked team like this. We had phenomenal recruits in the house today. Our best lineup of recruits, and they got to see what we're all about. I think in full form when you think about the whole atmosphere. Playing big time college football and then going out and playing well and getting a win. So really proud of that. Obviously proud of our guys. I thought, man, they had a great focus throughout the week. The mentality was right where it needed to be. Coming off a huge win on the road in the Big 12 at Kansas, and then to be able to put that one to bed and really focus everything on Iowa State. They did an absolutely great job with that, and I think that showed in the first half. We came out on fire offensively. I started with their offensive line, the way they were blocking, coming off the ball, huge runs. Our best running back game we've had this year with Tyree and Evan, just breaking tackles and some huge runs. And then, Sorsby with some timely throws, I thought, throughout the day, and none bigger than the one later late in the game to Goody. To push it to two-score game, obviously was huge for us on third down. Special teams played really well again today, knocking down field goals. Had two big kickoff returns, and then Max pinning that ball on the 1 inch line or whatever it was phenomenal for our special teams effort today. And now shoot, you're 2-0, and the next one makes it even bigger. At next week's what I told them in the locker room. So we'll celebrate this win and then move on to next week.
The last 2 weeks, your team has battled a lot of, we'll call it, adversity.
Mm-hmm.
What does it say about your guys that they're not getting frustrated or hanging their head and they're continuing to battle and they're 2-0?
Yeah, I'm getting frustrated though. They can,
Adversity.
yeah, they can be calm and play, and which is great to see. Hey, put the ball down, next play, whatever happens. Then there's a lot of that today, a lot of adversity today with that. But I think we did a great job of overcoming and continue to play the next play. And really and truly, it was really on both sides of the ball. I mean, it was all three phases, quite honestly. But I think for us, it's just doing the control of things we can control, and that's going out and playing hard. And we'll let the chips fall where they may. And at some point, maybe that'll go our way.
Scott and Keegan.
Is this what the Big 12 is? Big points last week. Both teams in the 30s this week again. You've got a lead, they come back. You figured they'd come back, but high-scoring, dramatic games that you have to stay in your seat for.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think each game in its own is different. I think as you look across the landscape of Big 12 football, there's some games where I feel like there's not as much scoring, and then all of a sudden there is a lot of scoring in other games. So I mean, I think it goes back and forth. A lot of it has to do with the matchups that these teams present. But I will say this, the teams that have the veteran quarterbacks, they're going to score points. I mean, it's just hard. It's hard to stop these teams. The way college football is, the way the rules are set up, and if you got a trigger man, you're going to have an opportunity to score points. And there is some teams in this league that play outstanding defense, great defense, and maybe some of those games may be low scoring, but I do think it's hard to contain all the offenses in this league of how good the offenses are.
Keegan, then Neal, then Marshall.
You knew you might be able to hurt them through the air with their depleted defensive backfield, but did you expect to be able to dominate the line of scrimmage offensively like you did in the first half?
I don't know really what I expected coming into the game, other than we wanted to try to move the ball. I thought our offense did excellent in the first half, and we didn't punt. We scored, I think, maybe every time we had it. It's hard to get any better than that in the first half. And then the second half, it was – I thought it was a little bit of sail taken out of the offense because, right before half they go down and score, then they get it back, and we got the ball back at 7 minutes to go in the third, or 8 minutes. And, so I felt like, it was over an hour since we had the ball, like time-wise. And so it took us a little while in the second half to get back into some rhythm. To their credit, I thought they did a good job of, holding the ball. They went, I don't know how many times they go for it on fourth down. I mean, I felt like 7. That's what I said on the field. It's crazy. Yeah, 7 times. So they just tried to keep the ball and keep getting first downs, and it seemed like, we held them 3 times there on fourth down. That's awesome, So it was just one of those back and forth battles there at the end, and, we hung on to get the victory.
Coach, you mentioned following the Kansas game that victory last week was 2.5 years of the fruits and labor, the hard work going into that victory. Tonight it's a little bit bigger there, obviously. Just walk us through the emotions to see the victory, and then the fans rush the field as well, and what that means to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it was a huge game. I think, number one, it was huge for a couple reasons. Number one, it was huge because we won last week. You're 1-0 in the Big 12, so that just means when you win, it makes the next one a little bit bigger. Number two, you got a ranked team coming in here, an Iowa State team that the whole league we always respect those guys. I mean, they had the most wins they've ever had last year. They were 5-0 this year. Rocco Beck, man, he is a warrior, and he's a winner and a warrior. And you keep looking up, and he keeps making plays. It's incredible how he continues to be able to do that. And he's got good players around him. They got really good coaches at Iowa State. That's a huge win for us in our program to be able to go, toe to toe with a team like that has been, one of the best teams arguably the last 10 years in this league. So, proud of our guys for that, and I'm, proud of our fans and our atmosphere that we had today to be able to play in front of that.
Coach, at risk of overgeneralizing, forgive me, but it seems like these last 2 weeks, those are games you guys would have lost the last 2 years. What's different this year?
Yeah, it's a different team. We got different players. We have, I think our recruiting staff did a great job of identifying guys that we needed to bring in. We did a great job of keeping the guys we needed to keep from the last 2 years that were on this team. And then I think our whole program's done a great job of kind of molding this team and getting this team to be a connected team. And in this day and age of portal and all the different moving parts that these teams have now, you want to have a veteran team. You want to have a team that's been scarred together like we have, and you want to have talent. So you want to have all that mixed in there. I think you can look at some of the plays today and some guys that were made today with guys we had before, but then also guys we brought in, Tyree Walker, Caleb Goody. I mean, these guys are making big time plays for us that go win games. So this is a different team, but also I saw Luke Kandra and DT and John Williams and stuff in the locker room. I'm proud of those guys too, because they helped us get to this point that we're at right now. I mean, it took all of us to get to where we are, to be able to go compete and win these last two games.
I'm not sure if you've seen this, probably not yet, but on the internet over the last 2 weeks, a lot of people talk about the glow up of hat sat. Is there any reason that you've made the change from visor to hat?
I think probably the main reason is probably getting a little bit older, man. Hair getting a little thinner. You don't want to be showing that in the back there, with a visor. But we also need a little change up. We need a little spark. We need a little something. So we're gonna go with the hat. Zach questioned it. He didn't know if I really should have done that. But yeah, we went with the hat, and I'm so far it's been pretty good.
Yanni, then Russ. Yanni.
Coach, obviously a lot of big explosive plays for you guys today, but to be able to go 4 for 4 in the red zone, what does that say about this team's finishing ability, especially against a defense like Iowa State?
Yeah, it's huge. Obviously, red zone scoring is big. I think we've been really good this year in the red zone. We've been good, as far as converting that into touchdowns. That's huge. You obviously don't want to try to kick field goals there if you can help it. Sometimes you're going to have to kick some field goals once you get down in there, but you want to get those touchdowns because we mentioned all the scoring that's going on. I mean, you want to score those 7 points and to give yourself a chance to win. But our coaches come up with a good plan, and our kids have been executing. Those game plans in the red zone is huge to be able to get those 7 points.
They had major issues in the kicking game entering this one, obviously, with all the fourth down attempts, the injuries there. And then also it played a factor in the kickoffs with Logan taking advantage of that. Was that something that Coach Pascal maybe kind of knew could be a factor of getting some more opportunity in the kickoff game, and then that created some short fields for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. You look at every team you're going to play, and you're going to try to find, all right, where are some deficiencies at? They've had some injuries there at the kicker. As you mentioned, probably while they went for it a few more times on fourth down. And then we felt like we could get an opportunity to return some in the kickoff return game. He's not able to blast it into the end zone, so you got to set that up. The first time we didn't really get much on the first one, but then we were able to hit 2 big ones on there. That was Coach Pascal and his special team staff, Tim Conner. They did a great job of scheming that up. Our guys did a good job of executing, and we got some great yardage there, close to midfield, I think, on 2 different returns.
Scott, is there one word, if any, that you can use to describe the momentum that you and this team feel right now with 2 signature wins in the Big 12, knowing you're 2-0, but those aspirations of going to Dallas?
No, I don't think we think like that. We try to stay in the moment. I think I think if you think like that, then you set yourself up. I think for us, it's about our process. It's about celebrating this win today because it was a big win. And then it's about getting in there tomorrow and trying to heal up and then moving forward for our next opponent. So, you know, you can't think like that. You got to think about 1 week at a time and your opponent that you get ready to play.
Frags.
Okay, Scott, it seemed like two plays that summed up the game entirely. The 4th and 1 stop at your 16, 3 plays later, obviously Brendan hits Caleb. What do those 2 plays mean to you? Because I think Marshall was referring to this earlier. Maybe last year against Pitt, you could have used one of those big plays, but now to get those plays so close in succession late in games, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it means a great deal. You know, we talk about our team. You know, we learned so much just this season. You know, you think about the Nebraska game. I think that game helped us win last week at Kansas. Well, the Kansas game, probably there's some plays there that helped us win this one. Last week, if you remember, against Kansas, we stopped them on 3rd and short. Then there was a 4th and 1. Felt like we stopped them. Didn't get the mark on that one. And then really and truly, that was a very similar setup today. And our guys, you know, rose up to that challenge and stopped them today. It was huge. And we felt like offensively at that point, we have to go score. We didn't get much on 1st and 2nd down. I think it's 3rd and 7 right there. They presented a coverage that looked enticing to be able to go one-on-one with Goody. And that was a play where I'm able to tell Sorsby, hey, it's man-to-man, think post. You know, he did a great job of stepping back, putting some air under the ball, and allowing Goody to go get it. You know, Goody can fly. And once he put it out there, he went and got it. Man, what a huge play of the game to make it 2 scores. Obviously, you're able to breathe a little bit better once he gets to the 2 scores. But it still wasn't over. We all know. But it was a huge play in the game, those back-to-back sequence. 100% correct.
Coach, already twice this season, the O-line was Big 12 offensive line. We presumably they're in contention again this coming week. What does it say about the opportunity that they were able to create for the skilled players, especially the leadership that Gavin's had? He's been here all 3 years since you've been here.
Yeah, so proud of Gavin. You know, our top leader on our team, captain, been here forever. We joke about it all the time. I think he's been here, you know, 8 years or so, but he's man, such an awesome dude. But he leads those guys up front. He will not settle for anything less than being excellent. And it's showing up. You know, these guys play nasty. They play physical. They take pride in every single thing they do. You know, if they happen to get a penalty, I mean, it hurts them. I mean, you know, it is like, you know, those guys, I often think that your offensive line on football teams make your whole team go. You know, they set the identity of your team. You know, how nasty are they? How physical are they? Well, then the rest of your team better be that way if they want to hang. And they're showing that week in and week out. I thought they had played another outstanding game today against one of the top defenses in the country.
Coach, obviously Dante comes back on a snap count today. Just how exciting was it to see him run around and make some plays today, and how big of a piece was that for this defense today?
Oh, that's a huge boost for us to be able to get the big boy out there. And you know, he's worked his butt off the last 3 weeks to try to get healthy and to be able to get out there. You know, and we're, you know, last week we were questionable. This week we were. It was all the way up to game time. We certainly don't want to put him out there and put him in harm's way. But our training staff and Aaron Hemler, they're the best in the country. They do a phenomenal job caring for our athletes. To get him ready to go in that period of time with that injury was phenomenal, and it's credit to all those guys. But to be able to have it, no matter, I don't even know how many snaps he had, but if it's 1 or 2 snaps, it's worth it to have him out there, because he's going to plug that A gap, and there's not going to be anywhere to go. And that's going to free up everybody else. But man, it's awesome to see him, you know, finally get back out there and help us. And hopefully, you know, he'd come out unscathed today and to be able to heal up a little bit more as we go through next week.
Speaking of freeing up everybody else, Jalen Hunt has played well so far this year, but maybe hasn't had the statistical, you know, accolades to go with that. How good was it for him today to be as active as he was and being in on as many plays as he was?
Yeah, he was all over the place today. Every time you looked up, Big 90 was making a play, including a big sack. And yeah, he's had a great offseason for us. And really and truly, I go back to last year, man. In the spring, I thought, man, this guy's going to really help us. And then he gets the injury and he missed all last year. He's so valuable because he can play nose, he can play tackle, field, and boundary. You know, he's a 310-pound guy that's very light on his feet, has very good quickness. And he's another one. He has worked so hard to get to this point right here. I'm so proud of him to be able to watch him make plays now. And that was fun today. That was his best game he's played. It was awesome.
I know it's a team game, but is it a little monkey off your back to beat Matt Campbell and you and Tyson Bite with all the ties that you guys have to them?
Yeah, I love Matt. He's awesome. As I said this week, I think he's one of the best coaches in the country. He does an outstanding job. But absolutely, it's fun to be able to compete against him and to finally get a win. He's had our number, but all the respect in the world for him. He knows that, and he does such a great job. So that's why you're proud of this team and to be able to go out there and compete and win that game.
last two, Keegan and Chad.
What went through your head when you saw Tawi truck that Iowa State defender?
Yeah, I mean, even before that, I was like, man, he's looking like a beast mode out there today. I mean, he was running through guys, a man on a mission, refusing to go down. I mean, I don't know what got into him, but he needs whatever he ate for pregame meal, needs to eat it again. He's a beast, we've been seeing that in him, and for it to come out today was awesome. Him and Pryor both, I thought, were great 1-2 punches today, and really made some great plays for us.
Coming into the game, their average starting position was their 38-yard line, which is absurd. How much did you guys talk about that, limiting their field position, kind of keeping them from getting those starts where they're already kind of at midfield, and then how big was that fletch punt to the one to throw them off?
Yeah, I mean, like as I mentioned, the margins are so small in this league. You can't just rely on offense and defense. You will get beat, and that's reason why we're so proud of our special team units, how good they've been this year, how we cover, how well they kick, obviously, but it's really the other guys too, how well they cover, how well they block, on the returns, and to try to win the field position. We talk about it every week. We come into our team room on Sunday and we'll put up the hidden yardage. Like who won those hidden yardage right there in the field position, because they will help you win. And the field position that we started today felt really good for us, and then obviously not for them. When you start on -1, that's no fun. And I remember it was last year or 2 years ago, we didn't start. It was like 7 straight games. We didn't start on the other side of the field in 7 straight games. It is very difficult to score points that way when you have to drive the whole field. And that's what I think that's the reason why they had so many 3rd and 4th downs there, because you got to drive the field. It's hard, and then it gives you more opportunity to stop them. We stopped them 3 times on 4th down. It's big.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks guys.
Thanks, guys.